y'all. So what we're doing today is I have traveled to San Francisco to my buddy David, and he is going to teach us. Giddy. Man, these lights are wonderful.
I'm starting to sweat. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on?
Hello! So what we're doing today is making a vegan soma, or a lactobacillus ferment, in the form of a ginger bug. Let me say, this is not for beginners. You do not want full Muscimol for your first experience. There's a lot of bad information and myths out there on the internet, and a full conversion is not what you want to be starting with. And you don't want to be doing just large doses of Amanita as your first experience with Amanita. This is not a beginner's mushroom, and it's a mushroom that you need to do in a very methodical and progressive way. And to learn how to do that, you can just watch the videos here on amanitadreamer.net. Having said that, if you are vegan or you can't get raw milk or you don't want to do the raw milk conversion, then you can do this conversion. So our resident fermenter is Dave, and I came here to San Francisco to hang in his house and do this collab with him. And he is a member of my Patreon, which has now moved to a private site. And he shows up on our Zoom meetings or whatever. So if you want to ask him questions about this process, if you become a member over there, and you can join our Zooms, I may talk him into doing his own Zoom on different conversions and how to do different ferments with Amanita. We'll see if that becomes a thing. You'll have to check it out and see. So we're going to give you Dave, and he's going to teach you how to do a vegan soma. Come on, Dave.
Hey, thanks for having me. I guess it's already been said, but I'm going to say it again. Ibo is not your enemy, and Ibo is a wonderful compound. And really, the only reason to make a full conversion like this is to take very high doses for, in my position, shamanic work. I'm vegan, and I want to show you how to make a ginger bug that you can use to fully lacto convert ibotenic acid into muscimol. So I'm going to start with some ginger. This is organic ginger. I'm leaving the peel on. Fresh ginger doesn't work as well. The lactobacillus love to live on the peel here. So I'm going to go ahead and chop up this ginger. You'll notice that I'm using a ceramic knife and that I'm using a wooden cutting board. It's probably not so important at this point in the process, but the lactobacillus is actually sensitive to metals. And so when the culture's going, you don't want to stir it or filter it or anything like that with any metals. Similar to a kombucha, it changes the taste forever.
How much ginger do they start with?
You know, it doesn't really matter how much you use. This is a really, really flexible process. It doesn't matter how much you chunk it up. Some people actually grate the ginger. So I'm just going to take an amount of the ginger and I'm going to put it in a clean quart jar. The lactobacillus is already alive on there, so I don't even need to leave this open to the air at all. To this, I'm going to add about a half a cup of sugar. You can see it doesn't really need to be that specific. It's a very, very flexible organism. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill that with water to the top. And that's how I'm going to get my ginger bug started. It's really that simple. The next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want some kind of plastic lid, right? I don't want metal to contact the culture. So I'm going to take some kind of plastic lid and I'm going to put it on there.
What about silicone or rubber?
Silicone will work. This is like a silicone that has a little nipple in it. There are other plastic lids that'll let you get some gas out, but that's what you want to do. You want to be able to let some gas out so that this jar doesn't get too much compressed air inside of it. So that's the simple part. That's how you make your mother. Now for the next 5 days, you're going to let this live on the countertop, and the lactobacillus are going to eat the sugar. And what I'm going to do every single day is I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to use a wooden spoon, and I'm going to take out a couple spoonfuls of this sugar water, this fresh sugar water, and I'm going to replace it with some simple syrup that I prepared. So every day, I'll be taking a few, maybe a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half out, and then I'll be replacing it with a little bit of simple syrup, and that feeds the culture every day. Now you're going to notice it's alive, because it's going to start to bubble. And when you start to see those bubbles, that's when you know that culture is active. And when it's good and active, that's when you're ready to use the mother to either make a soda, or it's going to be fine to put in the fridge and it'll live happy in the fridge then, usually for about a week to 2 weeks at a time without needing to be fed. This is the adult ginger bug, and you can see from the bubbles that it's quite active. It's actually, even as I'm shaking it, it's quite excited. So I know that this culture is active and ready to ferment. And I'm going to show you now how to make a fully decarbed ginger bug soda soma using this ginger bug. So I've got an organic lemon off my tree, I've got some ginger, and I'm going to make a lemon gingerade. That's really the simplest way I can do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a cup of the ginger bug. And remember I said we don't want the ginger bug to touch metal anymore once it's an adult. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pour it in here. And I don't really mind if it's got ginger in it. That's not a big deal. And I'm going to go ahead and feed this ginger bug, because I just took all that fluid out. I'm going to feed it remaining sugar water. So now that my ginger bug's all happy and fed again, this ginger bug can go back in the fridge and it'll be perfectly fine. So I'm going to pour that in. It's going to need about half a cup of sugar. And then I like to put in some kind of flavors. You can use a shelf-stable juice of any kind. It doesn't really matter what kind of juice it is. And any kind of fruit or flavorings. I really like to make a ginger lemonade. I think that's the simplest. There's no need to take the peel off as long as it's organic. You can put really any amount of lemon in here. You're not using it to decarb. The lactobacillus does the decarb. So really the lemon is just for flavor. And I love ginger as a flavor, and so I'm going to go ahead and cut a little ginger peel on. And I want to say that I am using a fermentation ready bottle. These bottles come from a kombucha company, so they've already had something under pressure in them. If you're using decorative glassware, you can have problems. You can get explosions, and that's not ideal. And then the rest we're basically going to fill up with water. So then I can add Amanita dry direct if I want, or I can make any amount in tea. These cherries were brought here today, so I'm just going to throw these in here. Really, any kind of fruit, any kind of sugar, it's going to eat that. Get real creative. The things that lactobacillus doesn't like are antimicrobials, so you're going to want to avoid anything that you would use for an infection, even herbs like that in the brew. If you're going to do that, you want to add that tea later. This is 15 grams of Siberian caps. It's mixed caps, and I put it in about a cup of water, and I simmered it for maybe 2 to 5 minutes, and that's really just to do a water extraction. I'm not actually trying to decarb. The lactobacillus from the mother is going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add the liquid, and then I'm going to get the meat in there too if I can. And we don't really know what's left in the caps, so I like to just include everything. This is a little on the warm side. You don't want to cook your lactobacillus, so you do want to make sure that your tea is cool enough to touch when you put it in there. And that's essentially the process. I'm going to go ahead and put a lid on this. I'm going to close it really tightly, because over the next 12 to 24 hours, it's going to get highly carbonated, and watching that carbonation is what's going to tell me that it's actually ready. So here's what it looks like. This one's been going for 3 days, which is a little on the long side. 12 hours will often do it. If you want to give it a shake to get that sugar in solution, you can do that. But honestly, it's a really forgiving medium. So I can go ahead and label this and put it up on my shelf, and I'm going to leave it up on my shelf for a little while. But this one's ready to go, and you can tell it's ready to go because when I crack it, so what I normally do is I cool them down. I like to have the soda at a chilled temperature, and I'll go ahead and I'll crack this lid just a little bit. One of the reasons I like these screw top lids is because you can let out gas like that, whereas the pop tops, explode and you end up with the stuff all over your ceiling. Things that are going to affect your ferment, whether you fully dissolve that sugar. If you start with simple syrup, it'll go faster. If you live in a warmer climate, it'll go faster. If you live at a higher altitude or a colder place, it's going to go slower. So that's why I can't tell you exactly how many hours that full decarb is going to take. Nor can I tell you exactly how many hours it's going to take to let the gas out of this bottle. Just jizzing soma everywhere.
Alright, so I do not do fermentation stuff. I don't like it. I try, I don't like it. But I'm gonna taste it. But I'll be honest. That's good.
It's really good.
Oh my god. The regular soma with raw milk smelled scary and it tasted amazing. This, I just don't like fermentation, and this tastes amazing. I was prepared to have to be like, this is just disgusting. What the fuck are you doing, man? but instead, it's like, oh my god. We just sat in ceremony last night and got so trashed on Amanita. We're still floating on Muscimol, drinking more fully decarbed. Okay, that's good.
It's really good, isn't it?
Cheers,
right.
man.
Cheers.
Thanks for your help and for teaching everybody.
Yep, I hope this works out for you. It's a really fast, simple way to do it. And the ginger bug is super malleable. You don't have to be very specific about the times or the amounts. It's just going to do its job for you. So cheers.
I love you, beautiful people.
Oh.
It smells odd.
Yeah, it smells like kefir. It smells living.
Maybe we only fill it up to here.
It's definitely good to leave some headroom, but this is going to happen. Song of Soma.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm in it, to be honest. I can see to the window.
Just doesn't stop.
It does not stop. It goes on and
Oh
on
my
and on.
god. You want to put it in a bowl?
I mean,
And
it'll
capture what's
just...
falling out?
I could, but we're not. Are we gonna drink it all? All right. I can't just open it. It'll go up to the top.